seeing some challenges for the PM, not just from federal Labor, but some of the state governments as well, as the flood headache continues.
Yeah, well, he's got flack from the New South Wales Liberal Premier Dominic Perrottet and the Queensland Treasurer Cameron Dick, brother of Milton Dick, the federal MP, of course. But the point is, if Scott Morrison had provided 50-50 arrangements for some of these payments the states are complaining about, which New South Wales believed he originally did, we wouldn't be talking about this today. And I don't think it's a good thing for the government. They just had a massive cash splash in the budget, $8.5 billion, cash payments to people, reducing petrol prices. You can afford that, but you can't afford to rebuild people's homes. Well, he says I've spent $2 billion on the emergency response. Fair enough. But we know what a catastrophe Lismore in particular has been. Where's the money to rebuild the homes? He says it's for the states. It seems an interesting political strategy just before a campaign.
And sometimes it's not what some public servant tells you in Canberra is the right thing to do. It's what you learn on the ground and what you see on the ground.
On the eve of the election, he's announced that he will not be providing hope to Queensland families. Queensland families who have been smashed time and again by flooding and natural disasters in this state. This is the highest level of disrespect for Queenslanders and the highest level of disrespect for our state from the Prime Minister, because he has made the political calculation that he does not need the votes of flood-impacted families in this state.
Well, Scott Morrison tries to justify it here.
Prime Minister, you've copped some criticism from the New South Wales and Queensland governments today on flood assistance. Now, New South Wales, this $112 million, we spoke about it yesterday. You said you have to be in a position where it's a 1 in 500-year-old flood before the Commonwealth half funds it. I don't really understand that. If your house is flooded, your house is flooded. So maybe you can explain that. And Queensland, just on Queensland, the Queensland Treasurer says today you didn't chip in on the $700 million that they've announced, and he says it is clear the Prime Minister has made a political calculation. He's decided he doesn't need flood victims to vote for him, so he has nothing to offer them. Now, you just spent $8.5 billion on temporary cost of living measures, on payments out the window. Is it politically that smart not to provide this flooding assistance so close to an election?
Well, let me deal with those issues in turn. First of all, in New South Wales, we have committed $2.1 billion to the New South Wales flood response. $2.1 billion. And $1 billion of that has already been paid to flood victims already. And we have also engaged with the New South Wales Government in significant 50-50 cost-sharing arrangements on the many programs that they've done over a series of programs. And as I made very clear yesterday, for the additional support that goes above and beyond all of that.
So they're just whingers, are they?
Well, I think we've seen over some time now a real politicisation, and it's very unfortunate, a real politicisation of natural disasters.